I recently reached out to my subscribers with a challenge to share their wildest, most unconventional loadout ideas for me to test in-game. The responses were frankly incredible. There was a ton of them, with suggestions ranging from hilariously impractical weapon combinations to surprisingly creative approaches that I never would have considered on my own. Now it's time for me to unfortunately put my money where my mouth is. I've committed to taking each of these subscriber-suggested loadouts into real matches and providing completely honest reviews of how they perform. No sugarcoating, no bias towards making this content, just genuine feedback on whether these crazy ideas are hidden gems or beautiful disasters waiting to happen. Starting with this one. Liberty Launcher, Gunboats, Market Gardener. I call it the Angry Soldier. I went into this combination with a negative mindset, honestly not even wanting to give it a fair chance. I kept thinking about how I was sacrificing the raw damage output of the stock rocket launcher and losing my reliable secondary weapon option. Liberty Launcher always seemed like a direct downgrade to me. Sure, you get an extra rocket, but that's at 25% less damage. I was convinced I would spend the entire time frustrated by it, especially without a shotgun to finish off weakened enemies. Once I actually started playing with it, I have to admit, I was pleasantly surprised with how well everything synergized. This isn't exactly the next meta loadout that you're going to see in comp games, but the 5 rockets from the Liberty Launcher turned out to be way more valuable than I initially thought, especially when paired with the gunboats. I found myself rocket jumping constantly without that usual anxiety of running out of ammo or taking too much self-damage. As a matter of fact, the reduced self-damage from the Liberty Launcher combined with the gunboats meant I could chain multiple rocket jumps together and still have enough health and ammunition to engage enemies effectively. I wasn't constantly looking for health packs or worrying about conserving rockets for actual combat. I could use them liberally for mobility, which completely changed how I approached each fight. I was launching myself everywhere, positioning myself for Market Gardener kills that would have been surprisingly harder with other loadouts and would have put me in way worse positions. This loadout gave me the sustained firepower I needed when those air shots didn't pan out, while the extra rocket meant I wasn't helpless after a few rocket jumps and missed shots. By the end of my session with this loadout, I wouldn't say I did a complete 180, but more like a 120. While it's definitely not going to be my go-to soldier setup for every situation, there's something genuinely fun and effective about this almost mobility-focused approach. This next one comes in from Guardian Delta. It's more of a gimmicky loadout, but it's to use the buffalo steak sandwich in the Fists of Steel. This is definitely an interesting risk-reward mechanic for the heavy, as the steak transforms the typically slow heavy into a melee-only speedster, boosting his movement while making him more vulnerable to damage. This pairs pretty naturally with the Fists of Steel, which reduce range damage significantly and increase melee damage taken, creating a high-mobility, close-quarters playstyle that's completely different from the heavy's usual defensive role. I mean, this combination allows experienced heavy players to adopt aggressive flanking strategies, quickly closing the gaps on enemies, while sacrificing the heavy's primary strengths of sustained firepower and tankiness. It's frankly a unique meme strategy that was situationally effective. The combo definitely requires a lot of good game sense and timing to use effectively, but when it was executed properly, it can catch enemies completely off guard and secure eliminations that would be impossible without traditional heavy gameplay, making them wonder why they're dealing so little damage as you close the gap more and more. Another loadout from Zaffy.
Heavy with KGB, Tomislav, and Panic Attack or any shotty just off 5 seconds of crits. Maybe even the chocolate to tank more.
I mean, this combo was mentioned constantly in the comments of my heavy loadout video. Everyone was expecting me to showcase that specific setup, but honestly, when I loaded into a match and started running this loadout, I was actually blown away by how well it performed. I expected it to do well, just not that crazy. This isn't typical wall-heavy gameplay at all. Again, you're using flank routes and you're thinking about how you're positioning completely differently. It's like playing a different class entirely when you commit to this playstyle. You have to be way more tactical about when and where you engage. A critical hit with the family business just deletes people quickly, especially with how fast it fires, and the extra ammo in the clip is devastating. The less damage doesn't matter when you're dealing triple, and it's genuinely shocking how much you can output if you can consistently land those crit shots. It took me a few rounds to really get the feel for it, but once I adapted to that more mobile, opportunistic heavy mindset, I started seeing why so many people were hyping up this combination. Not for every situation, but in the right hands and on the right maps, can be incredibly effective. Oh, okay, Jam the Man suggested, bro, you gotta use the Sacred Sniper loadout. Sydney Sleeper, Jarate, and Bushwalker, Piss Sniper. Well, I wouldn't shut up about how overpowered the Jarate and Bushwalker combo is in the Sniper rework video. That's pretty much where the power of this loadout ends. Sure, the Sydney Sleeper is a decent team utility cool with its piss coating mechanics and can help your team focus fire on priority targets, but it absolutely cannot pick off individual targets if its life depended on it, which matters more often often than not when you're playing sniper. The thing is, you're trading away your most fundamental ability as sniper, getting those crucial picks on medics, demomen, or other high-value targets, and instead you're stuck body-shotting people and hoping your team actually follows up on the Girardi coding. It works pretty great when your team is coordinated and actually capitalizes on the mini crits, but in most pub matches, good luck getting that level of teamwork. Purple guy suggested that I do the Rescue Ranger with the Wrangler and the Mini Sentry. Yeah, that shit was ass. I'm not showing my gameplay footage. I got my ass beat. Didn't work at all. Next one. The Dad Ringer suggested for the medic to use the Quick Fix, the Overdose, and the Amputator. While the Overdose provides a decent speed boost when you're taking damage, which can help you escape sticky situations or rotate between teammates faster, when you could be running the crossbow instead, it becomes harder to justify. The crossbow gives you that crucial long-range burst healing and the ability to do the same from the distance, plus you can actually contribute pretty meaningful damage with those satisfying projectile shots that hurt more than you'd think. Overall, I wouldn't recommend the Overdose for this loadout, however, I think it's okay. While the Quick Fix fills a more specific niche with its faster healing rate and uber building speed, because if your team is taking constant spam damage or you need to keep multiple injured teammates topped off quickly, it definitely has its place. The Uber might not provide invulnerability, but that speed boost and knockback immunity can be surprisingly effective for aggressive pushes. Still, most situations call for the reliable game-changing potential of stock Medigun's invulnerability Uber, or the Kritzkrieg's devastating damage boost that can instantly delete entire enemy teams. The Amputator has some interesting utility that I feel like I've talked about before, with its area of effect, taunt heal, and passive health regeneration. I mean, in the right circumstances, being able to heal multiple teammates simultaneously can genuinely be useful, especially when holding choke points or during setup time. The passive regen does add up over long fights too, but realistically, you're giving up the Uber-sized game-changing ability to build Uber on melee hits, which can completely turn around desperate situations. Those clutch Uber builds from a successful saw hit are just too valuable to pass up in most scenarios. While I do appreciate this loadout, and I think that factoring in what you could be running instead kind of removes the fun from this loadout, I think unfortunately it is a factor that you have to consider. When you're arguably using the quote-unquote worst thing in every slot, you're gonna begin to see the downsides in gameplay and almost start to wish you were running something else. MREW dared me to try and get a kill with the rocket jumper, gunboats, and the equalizer. Yeah, man, that's gonna be pretty rough, but let me quickly explain why it doesn't work at all. The rocket jumper is fine on meme strat soldiers, sure, but it doesn't synergize well at all with the gunboats as it's completely negated because you are taking no damage from your rocket launcher. And the equalizer is easily the worst soldier melee as you get so much less healing from medics. However, I did something completely unexpected. I went on a 3-kill streak with it. Oh my god, I'm ass. Oh my god, I'm butt. Don't take that. Oh, you're 125 health. How can you take that? Oh, we got a kill with it! We got 2! Can we get a third? Can we get a third? We got a third, ladies and gentlemen! And we got an achievement! Excellent! 3 whole kills with the equalizer. We got an achievement, ladies and gentlemen.